Am I the asshole for telling my sibs I sold our childhood home when I didn't, just to get them out? Okay, so I'm the youngest of 5 and this mess only revolves around me, F29, my just older sis, F31, and our older bro, M36.
2 older sisters aren't part of this, thankfully. Okay, so I currently live with my girlfriend at what was my grandma's home. But I bought said home from mom a bit back for cheap. The house wasn't pristine and I've sunk a few thousand into it already, and it's looking better. Well, my mom lived in our childhood home with 31-year-old sis and bro for the last forever. Sis and bro never moved out for longer than a year each before moving back. Both are absolute slobs who refuse to clean up after themselves. And they made our mom clean up after them. She couldn't stand mess, and would clean just so she wouldn't have to live in filth. Eventually she, in her 60s, couldn't stand to live there anymore, so I asked her to come live with me. They essentially drove our mother out of her own home because they were slobs. Well, she lived with me happily. My house is clean and she didn't have to work and just enjoyed her time in the garden. But she passed away not too long ago. I've barely been coping because out of all of my siblings I was closest with our mom. Our personalities just meshed well. Whereas my siblings didn't. She loved them, she wouldn't have cared for them for so long if she didn't, but they stressed her out unbelievably. Well, I found out our mom left her house to me only. She left each of my sibs some money, but the house and everything of hers in it is now mine. My sibs who live in that house didn't like it and pitched a fit. Said I manipulated mom at her weakest into getting the house when they should have gotten it. I told him to go to hell, and the only reason it probably got left to me is because mom knew I'd at least remember to pay the property tax each year so the house wouldn't get taken. Neither of them pay any bills, save for their phone bills, so she probs doubted they'd keep the house long if she gave it to them. Well, they expected me to follow in mom's footsteps and pay all the bills there for them. I laughed and told him that going forward they'd be paying rent and all utilities if they wanted to stay there, and they'd need to keep the place clean or they were out. They flipped their shit and screamed that it was their childhood home and I couldn't do this. I said the deed is in my name, so I very much can. I sent him a letter that basically said they can either pay rent or they'd be out. They refused, so I sent him another letter saying they had 30 days to vacate the premises because I'd sold the house. They went apeshit, but they didn't have a leg to stand on, so they bailed. I've since cleaned up the place. It looked like a drug den and cost a lot to deep clean and fix stuff, and I'm renting it out to a nice Asian couple who have lots of exotic fish. Told some friends I lied about selling the house and they said it was an asshole move. AITA. Edit 1. To the people commenting, why lie? Lying was pointless, or, you were fine until you lied, need to understand that I know my siblings well. And I know for a fact that a regular eviction wouldn't have worked since they'd know the house was still mine, so they'd have not left and just squatted indefinitely. But once they thought the house wasn't mine, they bailed, because they probs were worried the new homeowner would shoot them for trespassing. So lying was necessary. IMO. Edit 2. I see a lot of confusion about the house situation, so to clear things up I bought the house that originally belonged to my grandma from my mom. The house said grandma left to my mom. I live in that one with my GF. But my mom left me her house that she bought herself when she was a young mom. That's the house I rent to the couple with the fish. There are 2 houses in this story. The one I live in, grandma's old home, and the one mom gave me, the one the couple with the fish are renting. I hope this clears things up. And now for some comments, not the a whole big time. I'm glad your gamble worked out for you. Getting people out of a house can be a huge hassle. My grandfather left his business to my father, his son-in-law, because he knew that neither of his actual sons would pay the taxes on it. They fought in court and my dad gave up the property because it wasn't worth the hassle, because it very much tore my family apart in the process, although for the better, and now the two sons have the property and one is in jail and the other is squatting there. There is no electricity because they don't pay the bill, they're running an illegal shop out of it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the state takes in the next couple of years for back taxes. It's a shame, and I'm glad OP's mom left it to her, and that her siblings ended up getting out. Even if it was by deception. How dare you not clean up after us and pay our bills like mom did?
How dare you think that we should start taking on adult responsibilities because we're adults? Entitled siblings expect me to take care of them in my house, sounds more accurate.